Hello, artists. This is Miss Flavia with Little Blank Canvas, and we have a very spooky and beautiful project to create for Halloween. Um, in this video, I'm going to show you guys the supplies that we're going to need, and then we're going to go for the step number one. In this project, we're going to take 3 steps to complete this art masterpiece, and this is what I'm going to share with you guys. We're going to talk about this monster plant. It's native of North Carolina, where the studio is located, and it gets like really spooky or really cute depending on your style. We're going to talk a little bit about the fall colors, secondary colors. We're going to talk about how blending colors, creating contrast, turning your imagination into like a real work that you can use to decorate the house for Halloween, and really getting into the spirit of turning something that is real into something that you can imagine and add all of the creative things that you have it in your mind. So what we're gonna need for this project is you can have just a paper, mixed media paper, but we're gonna use for the students a canvas. It's a square canvas. Let's see if I have one here. This is by one of our students. So this is a square canvas. It's a 12 by 12. I'm going to put it in the handout, but I'm going to give it to you all. And we're using acrylic paint for all of the colors we're going to add. And the step number one will be to draw, get our creativity, all of our lines and designs. And then step number two will be to paint the background and then letting it dry so we can get to painting the pot and the plant after that step. Okay, so for the first step, you're only going to need your inspiration and your imagination. Look at this here. You're going to need some pencil and eraser, nothing special, and the canvas or the paper. Okay, so the handout that I made for this project, it has some different images from the monster plant or the Venus flytrap. That's our inspiration. And I put it in so many different ways because I want you guys to see that there's never just one way of drawing anything. Since we are basing this on a plant that actually exists, I wanted you guys to have a variation of ways that some different artists had expressed their styles using this as inspiration. So I want you guys to read through it. Here we have a list of supplies that we're going to use. But again, you can be so free to use color pencils, markers, watercolor, oil pastel. There's so many different ways that you can create the same artwork by using different supplies. For this project, we're sticking to the canvas, acrylic paint, and then we're going to add some chalk pastel at the very end to have like a nice texture, final touch, so we can hang this on the wall and spook everybody for Halloween. Um, I have an unstretched canvas over here. That's what I'm going to be using for the sample, but it's the same size as the canvas I'm giving to all of our in-person students. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to switch my camera. You guys are going to be able to see my hands, and that would be easier for you to follow along with me. Let me put it here. Let me see what. Hopefully we'll be able to see. Yay! So you're probably seeing me on the side of the screen, maybe here, hopefully. But you seeing my hands. The handout gives more information about the idea, but one of the things that I want to work with you guys is we're going to talk more about texture in unusual plants. And I don't know if you guys know this, but the Venus flytrap, the monster plant is a plant actually native of North Carolina. I think I said this in the beginning of the video. And I thought this would make it really interesting for the students here at the studio. We're going to create some interesting designs that could be completely up to you guys on how you want to add this. But I highly recommend you either use the back of the handout or get just a blank sheet. And I want you to practice some of the lines that we're going to talk about here first. The first thing that I like to do when we start any project is to look at the composition. So look at the space that we have to work with And then we can start deciding the size of the objects and the images we're going to place, where they're going to be located, how can I stretch this, how can I really nicely balance my work. And I know kids, especially younger kids, we have a tendency to go very small, keep everything in the middle, right here in the middle, and just keep it small. And I want to encourage you guys in this project, especially, to be a good exercise for you to go big. So let's imagine that we have this pot of plant, have the seed for the monster plant, for the Venus flytrap. And this monster is just, wow, expanding and growing so fast. It's breaking through the pot, getting the roots or the tentacles, however you want to see this, getting out of the pot. So the pot is actually small to hold all the monstrosity. It even goes outside of the canvas limit, outside of the paper and come back. This one comes here too. So it's taking over. It's a monster plant that is taking over the whole world. Boom, boom, boom. So as you see here, we have the pot not in the middle at the lower part of the canvas, but on the side. And that gives a more interesting composition, the way we're displaying and organizing our work, at least in my opinion. So you have the option to use a pot in the center, left or right. Doesn't matter. It's up to you how you want to set up. But one thing I want you guys to keep in mind is when you go up, we go up close to the edge of the canvas. When we go diagonally to the edge of the canvas and we go down. So we're taking over the space as if we divide the space into 3 parts here, 3 parts here, creating 9 squares. We have information everywhere. And that's what we call the rule of thirds. So we're dividing the space into 3 columns and 3 rows, and we have information everywhere. So you're telling the audience, the people who are going to look at your work, to be invited to look around, not just in one place. And I think we could get started so you guys would understand. So since the canvas is square and our paper is rectangular, I want to flip my paper like this. I'm going to fold, let me get just one. I'm going to fold this one like this. So I have a square paper, and that's going to give me the same structure as the canvas would give me. Okay. Let me get my pencil. Every time I'm sketching very lightly because I want to make sure that I can change my mind without having to go and clean up the lines and erase all the time. And this is our practice sheet anyway, so I don't have to worry about erasing, going over. So the first thing that I want to do, and I'm going to put my mark a little bit heavier here on the paper, you don't have to. I want to make sure that my pot, the vase where the plant is going to grow out of it, it's actually showing the illusion of a three-dimensionality, which means I'm turning my flat shape into a 3D form. And in this case, it's going to be a cylinder. So to give that impression, we need to create an ellipse motion. And that is pretty much a baguette, or a little, what I was going to say, maybe it's a circle that we're squeezing in. And if you look at a plot like this one, if you look from the side, depending on the perspective, you're going to notice that this is the shape. We have an arrow here. It goes like a smile, and then the back gives that space. And everything in the middle is whole. It's a hole where the plant is going to grow out of it. And then we have the lines coming diagonally down. So this side over here is larger, and then it narrows down at the bottom. And this is also curved, as you can see here, following the same curvature that we have at the top. Now that we understand this a little bit, I'm going to show you how I draw it. So I have this line. I make 2 lines going down, straight lines going down, one on each side. And then on this line here, I'm following a slightly curved line, following that same slightly curved these are not straight lines. And the space over here is not really big because I don't want this to be in that perspective a little bit. So I want this pot to be just slightly inclined. Then I'm going to bring a diagonal line. And right at the bottom, I'm going to close it, giving that same curved line that I have here, I have here, like these three lines are parallel. They work together to never touch each other. That's my sketch. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to create all the information on the pot first and getting the roots out. And the way that I like to do that is, let me show you. So I'm going to do a hole here. I'm not closing that space over here. So it looks like the letter C. From that hole, I have this blur, this plant coming out of it. I'm going to do a little bit darker so you guys can see better through the camera. See? So it shows like the hole is actually open and there's something coming out of it. So that line over here, it's going to disappear. I'm going to have to erase that line because the pot is behind. And now I'm going to do maybe one on this side and bring this down, getting out of the canvas maybe. Maybe I can do one more, maybe the one that comes breaking, going on the floor, on the ground. Now that I have this information, and you guys can do more than 3, I like the number 3 for this pot because it's not a huge pot. And you see that this is big enough. It's almost like on the half of the page on the bottom, but it's not huge that I don't have space for the plant to grow, but it's not tiny that the plant is actually going to take over and I won't see the pot. So find that size that will fit that canvas. Maybe when you do with your hands on the canvas, that 12 by 12 square canvas, you can use your pointer and your thumb to direct you on how you want to do this. That's usually how I do. Kind of a plan with my fingers. I see the amount of space I have to work with, and I trust my intuition. Okay, so now that we have the bottom covered, I can go and grow my plant. And that could be as wild as you would like. This is the hole where the plant is coming from. Maybe I'm going to go outside, come here, and right here may have a little head. The mouth is open. Then I can have another one that comes in a spiral. Let me see how I can make this happen. Here, it goes behind the other one. And then comes here, other face. It could be even upside down. And lastly, I have one that comes down and opens up like this. So I have a little bit of an idea where I want them to go. So I see it, I fill in with information on every step and every corner I have on the canvas. Then I can think about these are going to be the teeth. Maybe I want to do smile. Now he has closed eyes, maybe the tongue sticking out. You can be super silly. Maybe this one has the mouth really wide open. The eyes are here and the teeth pointy. And we can always add leaves. And this is only our warm-up practice. I want to show you we can have some spikes, thorns, just like roses. We have, you can have some gooey dribble, whatever, coming out of a saliva, or blood, or tomato sauce. So then we have kind of an interesting setup on this one. And now that I have my sketch and I know sizes, if I made like maybe lines that I don't want to have, then I know better and I feel more confident about the lines that I'm putting here. And so I can get my real canvas and do this as a final. When we're using our pencil, we try to hold our pencil in the middle or towards the end. So the line is going to be really faint, meaning it's going to have like a light touch on the canvas and it will be easier to erase. And it's better to just work with that than trying to erase, erase, erase and be unhappy. Okay. So now that I have that plan here, that's going to guide me and help me. I can start thinking of the shape and the size of the objects here. The first thing that I was telling you guys is that we need to set the pot, the vase here, and I'm doing the vase on the side of the canvas towards the bottom, so we don't need a lot of space towards the bottom here, so I'm holding it here. Maybe I want my vase to go as tall as the top of my finger here and as low as my thumb over here, so I'm making my marks. And I'm going to start this by using that ellipse that I showed you guys before. Looks like a baguette. Then I have the two lines, one on each side. I'm putting a lot of pressure on my pencil so you guys can see it really well through the canvas. I close it here slightly curved, connecting, keeping the same curvature. Then instead of going towards the edge over here, I'm going to go a little bit more inside. I'm going to bring the line slightly diagonal. And then when I get here, I'm going to close with the slightly curved line again. Always following the two tops. And if it gets crooked, we just adjust. See? When we're using acrylic paint to paint over and add the amazing colors we're going to do, then we'll be able to cover some of the lines that we don't like anymore. So now that we have the pot, we can do the holes again. I'm going to follow the same as I was doing on my practice sheet. I start with a semi-hole, a semi-circle. Then I'm going to go kind of wavy, pretending that I have this thing. This time I'm going up with my lines. Oops. And I'm going to erase the line here for the pot because these tentacles, or this one at least, is going the front of the pot, so I don't see the pot through that. And then we need to think of where we're going to put the rest of it. So I'm going to do another one here. This is coming and getting out of the canvas as well. Then this, it's going to be erased. I'm going to do my last one here. So I'm sticking with 3 holes in this one and go as long as close to the other side of the canvas. I can make it more muscular. Like this, if you guys want to, kind of creepy, and then erasing the line because the tentacle is in the front of the vase. I don't see that side of the vase. I'm just meaning that. Kind of cool, huh? And since I'm doing this on my canvas already, I'm gonna go and get some leaves coming out of the plants. Maybe I have some thorns coming out of it. I think it gives even a more creepy look as we're doing this with the creepy look. Okay. And now I'm gonna go and expand the plants I have at the top. You see, like I'm getting half of the paint, the canvas, and actually at one side, so it's pretty much a quarter of my square. But if I were to divide this into 4, 1/4 on the side, it's already taken. Now I'm gonna try to expand, draw it lightly, even though I won't, because mine has to show through the camera. I already planned this on my practice sheet. This. The other one that comes may do a little folding here. Heading side. And I have this wavy, crazy mouth with eyes. Put another one here. And the last one comes down and up. And cleaning up the lights. So it's gonna be however you guys want to make it fun, make it nice. I'm gonna open a big mouth here. I have the pointy teeth. Maybe you have the tongue now coming from this one instead. Then you can have closed eyes here. Maybe these eyes are gonna be crossed eyes, so it makes it look very silly. You can have some dripping on this one. Maybe the pot here can be broke. Maybe I have some gross liquid coming out of the pot. And then we can do more leaves. We're gonna wait to get the background with some flies and even some spider webs and caterpillars. The examples that I have over here, because we need to paint the background first. We need to use color like what my purple is. So the background is everything that is not the plant in the vase. And once we're done with painting the background and starting to paint the plant in the following step, then we will be able to add the fly and all the other elements. So this is our step number one. We have our pot with our plant. We have a crazy plant coming out with these amazing faces that look like so surreal. Forgot to put some teeth here. So I want you guys to take the opportunity to practice on your paper before you get into the canvas, so you don't have to worry. You just relax and chill and feel very confident when you're putting your lines on the canvas. Draw lightly, and just by rubbing my face on the side of the canvas with the pencil, you see how it's already on my hands. So we're gonna have to wash some of my fingers. So I want you guys to have fun, make it nice, make it creative, make it your own. And on the next video, on the step number 2, we will get to color the background, color the pot, color the plant, and add all of the creative details that will make our plant unique and spooky. Okay, so see you guys on our next video. Have fun, enjoy, and relax. Thank you.